Welcome everybody to the 34th Annual Peer Mediation Conference of Ventures in Peer Mediation. My name is Jose Barzola from the Matsunaga Institute for Peace at the University of Hawaii, Manoa. This year's Peer Mediation Conference is brought to you as a collaborative of 22 different organizations around Hawaii that support this conference that is spread out throughout the month of April. The Peer Mediation Conference consists of an opening panel, 16 skill workshops, and a closing panel. You can learn more about all the events at matsunagainstitute.eventbrite.com, and I'll post that in the chat a little bit shortly. Today's event will focus on the skills workshop on how to be a good friend with Sage Andrews and Vanessa Clay from Kailua High School Peer Mediators, as well as you may hear or see definitely Shelly Andrews, who is their advisor for the program. Thank you for joining us today to learn about peer mediation skills. Sometimes being a good friend is not easy. The Kailua High School Peer Mediators will discuss what to do to support your friend when they have a problem. And to get us started, I'm going to turn it over to Shelly, or no, actually Sage, who has just joined us.
Oh,
I think Sage should
go ahead, Sage. Or we'll start. Vanessa.
Hi.
This is Vanessa and I'm Shelly Andrews. We're coming to you from Kailua High School. The first slide we have here is just getting to know the Jamboard. So what we wanted to do is just share with you within the chat our Jamboard link. If you wouldn't mind going to our Jamboard, that would be amazing. I'll just paste it into the chat right now. Oh, for some reason my link isn't showing. One more try. Nope, not working. Okay. Sorry about that. We will start here. Just sharing our slides. I'll try to keep on trying to get the link in there for you. If it doesn't work out, really apologize. I would like to get your guys' feedback. So we'll go ahead and start then. Sage, do you want to just go ahead?
Yeah, this is How to Be a Good Friend by the Kailua High Peer Mediators.
So I was just able to put the link for the Jamboard into the chat, so everyone should be able to head over there.
Beautiful. So thank you, Jose. So hopefully we'll be able to see, if I see everybody's joining. Awesome. Just what are some of the reasons why you came to this workshop today? Okay. Go ahead.
So what are some problems that can lead to an issue with a friend?
And again, if you can just kind of follow along with our Jamboard here. And I'll just give everybody kind of a moment and we'll just kind of be waiting for some reasons here that you came to the workshop. And then also, what are some problems that can lead to an issue with a friend? Oh, just a quick tutorial. Did somebody, you want to go ahead and give them a tutorial stage on how to use Jamboard?
Yeah, if you go to the left side, you can see all these little extensions along it. For answering these questions, I'd recommend using the sticky note, which is what our cursor's on right now. It's just a really quick thing. It's like a short response and you can move it around the board depending where you want it, and you can change the color, whichever you like. And then also the second to the bottom is a text box. I'd also recommend using that if you want to just write something very short or a different response. But it's more like if you don't want the sticky note, see how it covers words, if you want it to not show that. So it just shows through the background. And then the final one is if you want to write something on the very top, there's a pen tool that you can use just for small, like I guess tick marks or anything like that. But I wouldn't really write with that just because it's quite cumbersome.
Awesome. I love it. Somebody wants to learn from us all. Yay. Okay. And then if you can go ahead and answer as well, what are some problems that can lead to an issue with a friend as well? Okay. Why don't we just continue with this slide here? This one?
So if you would like to follow our presentation, use the PEP website. Scroll to the bottom, click on the KHS PEP handbook. Don't forget to give us your input in our Jamboard.
And just some fun questions about PEP. Just to let you know, PEP is all of these things. Basically an exclusive club for highly functioning, resilient, and collaborative individuals interested in potentiating a peaceful and positive world. PEP also provides students with a positive educational environment as they transition from high school and into the world by building positive relationships. Students work as mentors by working as role models and peer mediators for their classmates and in their communities. And also at Kailua High School, you get an elective credit and it's a fun class. And it's basically the best students and teachers on our virtual campus. So all of the above is what PEP is.
Also, I just missed there's a question in chat of what was the second question. I think that can be found on the Jamboard. On the top, there's pages and you can move from one page to the next, kind of following along with the slideshow presentation. Hopefully that answers your question.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead?
Okay, yeah. So these are different pictures of how like people see perspectives. So if you looked at them, there's on the top right there, you can either see a woman or a guy with a saxophone. And then the bottom one is either could be a duck or a rabbit. And then the one in the middle, it could be two faces or like some kind of hourglass. And then the next one is you can either see an old woman or a young woman. And then the top one on the left is either a face or you can like, it says liar and spell it.
Just to explain, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Sage.
I was just gonna say to explain it a little bit more. I know like I can barely see both of them, even when I know which one is which. But the saxophone, that's the one I originally see. But if you're looking for the lady, the upper part of the saxophone is her nose, and then the two spots like where his chin is, and then also on the opposite of the saxophone are her eyes, and then the mouth would be his hands that look like they're playing the saxophone. To go down, I think this one's more obvious. The duck is, you can see the beak of the duck would be the rabbit's ears. And the duck looks like he has a very nice posture, I guess you'd say. He looks very proud of himself. And then the middle one, I think that was also quite more obvious, where it's the two faces either staring at each other or the white would be the faces are creating the outline of some sort of glass or maybe a trophy. And then the lady, there's either a young lady or an old lady on the lower left. That one would be what I would say is the most confusing. I think I see the young lady first. It looks like she's turned, like her head is turned to the left, so you can only see the outline of her face. The lowest part being her chin, and then the up part where it dips before her hat would be her eyes. But then the old lady, if you look at where the young lady's face is, that would actually be the nose of the old lady. And then she is more looking down towards the ground and facing you more. And then the top one, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. It looks like a face, but if you turn it on an angle, like if you tilt your phone or your computer or whatever to the left, you can see liar spelled out.
And it looks like a couple of people made check marks. So great. They can see the pictures both ways. Awesome.
Okay, and the next question then is it possible to change your perceptions?
And you can go to the Jamboard and let us know. Yes, I can see a yes.
The next question is, how did it feel when someone saw something different than you?
Absolutely, yes. I love it. I love all the people that think that you can change your perceptions, because especially in this world, sometimes we think we can't, and I think it's possible. So the next question, how did it feel when someone saw something different from you? Let us know. Sometimes I feel nervous when I don't see all the pictures.
For me personally, when I was first looking at them in class, it almost felt like, oh, I can't believe I can't see all of these. But I think it's more important, not that you can see them all, but that you understand that other people might see something different from you.
Awesome. And then I don't know if you guys can see this, but a little bit embarrassed or some other feelings, misunderstood and sad and maybe confused. So sounds like we all kind of feel the same way. And now we're gonna do a quick video. And I hope you guys enjoy the video. And again, it's about perceptions. Oops. Get my.
There were 6 blind men who grew up in a village in India, and the community kept them safe and shared with them many stories. The men were curious about many of the stories they heard, but they were most curious about elephants. Based on the stories that each of them had heard, they argued about what elephants must be like. The community grew tired of these arguments and arranged for the men to visit the palace, where they were greeted by an old friend from their village who worked as a gardener on the palace grounds. Their friend led them to the courtyard. There stood an elephant. The blind men stepped forward to touch the creature that was the subject of so many arguments. The first blind man reached out and touched the side of the huge animal. An elephant is smooth and solid like a wall, he declared. It must be very powerful. The second blind man put his hand on the elephant's limber trunk. An elephant is like a giant snake, he announced. The third blind man felt the elephant's pointed tusk. I was right, he decided. This creature is as sharp and deadly as a spear. The fourth blind man touched one of the elephant's 4 legs. What we have here, he said, is an extremely large cow. The fifth blind man felt the elephant's giant ear. I believe an elephant is like a huge fan, or maybe a magic carpet that can fly over mountains and treetops, he said. The sixth blind man gave a tug on the elephant's coarse tail. Why, this is nothing more than a piece of old rope. Dangerous indeed, he scoffed. The gardener led his friends to the shade of a tree. Sit here and rest for the long journey home, he said. I will bring you some water to drink. While they waited, the 6 blind men talked about the elephant. An elephant is like a wall, said the first blind man. Surely we can finally agree on that. A wall? An elephant is a giant snake, answered the second blind man. It's a spear, I tell you, insisted the third blind man. I'm certain it's a giant cow, said the fourth blind man. Magic carpet, there's no doubt, said the fifth blind man. Don't you see? Pleaded the sixth blind man. Someone used a rope to trick us. Their argument continued, and their shouts grew louder and louder. Wall, snake, spear, cow, carpet, rope. Stop shouting, called a very angry voice. It was the Raja, awakened from his nap by the noisy argument. How can each of you be so certain you are right? Asked the ruler. The six blind men considered the question, and then, knowing the Raja to be a very wise man, they decided to say nothing at all. The elephant is a very large animal, said the Raja kindly. Each man touched only one part. Perhaps if you put the parts together, you will see the truth. Now, let me finish my nap in peace.
Hope you guys like the video. If you can go to our Jamboard. Let us know what you thought. What do you think the lesson of the 5 blind men and the elephant is?
I guess at least for me, I really like the video. Like, even though it's quite I want to say it's like quite an exclusive thing. It's like, oh, when would 6 blind men encounter an elephant, and I'll argue about this. But really, like, this sort of thing happens in like every single day. You know, people only look at one side or hear only one part of the story, and they really feel a certain way about it, and they think they're right, but they really just don't know the whole picture, and you can't blame them for not knowing everything. And they're still entitled to that opinion, even though if it's not based on everything. I think as mediators, what we try to do is we try to make sure that people can see all sides and then develop opinions based off of that, so that people can try to either learn from each other's opinions and try to see from the other side, or they can just agree to disagree, and then at least you know what the other person feels and why they think that way.
Awesome. We have some responses. You can read them from here.
Okay, so one response said the importance of listening and respecting others. And then the other one is there will be just as many perceptions, views. Sorry, I can't really see it. Views, feelings, opinions, etc., as there are people involved in the situation, which I think are both pretty good answers.
Yeah. And I like how the pink and the green are contrasting with the purple. Totally off topic, but nice colors, choices. Anybody else want to add another response? I hope you guys liked the video. I'm gonna read the next question.
So how does the story of the 3 blind men and the elephant relate to perception and friendship?
And if you have any feedback for us. How
If you
do
want to take, oh, sorry, if you want to
Go
take a few
ahead.
minutes to answer this, I know that it's like, I mean, at least for me, I had to like think through it. It took me like a few minutes just to wrap my mind around the question and then be able to answer it.
read it?
Okay. One person said there are many different ways to see. Many different ways to see things, and with friends, you will want to try and see it through their eyes.
Good one.
And then when you get all the people together, perceptions, you get closer to the understanding. Oh, she liked the video.
Nice. I think you have to be on the screen. So definitely.
Oh, I'm not.
Okay, awesome. Thanks again for sharing. read that?
Okay, what are some examples of real life situations that result in misunderstandings because of different points of view? What are some steps that resolve these situations?
And you can go to our Jamboard and let us know. Vanessa and Sage, you want to tell us what you think?
I think it just matters on different opinions. Like we all have our opinions, and most opinion, or not most, but some opinions lead to problems, which is not a bad thing, but I think we just need to find a way to resolve it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that a good example is any sort of drama that I think we see a lot of, especially in today's like middle and high schools. And I think that it's not, and then I think I see a lot of people like not wanting to be friends with other people anymore because they just can't see from other people's perspectives, or they don't want to see from their perspective. So I think that as a community and as being in like one of those schools, I want to be able to see from other people's perspectives and know the whole story before I form my own opinions, either for or against different people.
Awesome. Thanks for both sharing. And we have a couple more people that wrote in. Sometimes it's easy to be misunderstood or to speak out of frustration or agitation. We can resolve things through talking it out and being a good listener. Awesome. And sorry, when one friend doesn't think it's a big deal to share a secret and the other friend feels betrayed and doesn't trust the friend who shared that secret. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing. And we're kind of coming into the end of our presentation here.
So I hope you learned something about how misconceptions lead to conflict.
And this week, try to see things from someone else's perspective. Ask them why they feel that way. You may see things from a different way than you did before.
And please let us know what you thought of our presentation. We would love to make changes. Maybe you learned something today about how to become a better friend, and if so, what? Any questions? Oh, we got a question. What do you think are some of the most common conflicts among youth today?
Well, what from my experiences, maybe like just like a lot of people talk about each other, and like I think we just need to like be nice to people and like not be so like mean and everything, like just see others for who they are and not judge them for who they are.
So a lot of judgment, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I think many students in high school were kind of told or made seen that grades or your grade point average or who your friends are or what you do outside of school is like defines who you are as a person. And I want to say like that really shouldn't be what we tell people. I think it should be more about who you are, and it should be about discovering who you are. And I think we should all learn to see from other people's perspectives and learn from other people and learn from their different experiences rather than judging them for those experiences.
And I think you kind of answered the next question, Sage. Do you think youth should be taught how to resolve conflicts in school, and should it be a mandatory course?
Okay, yeah, I definitely think it should. Like this course, I think, especially like even growing up my whole life in a household that's like that says these things, I think learning it in a class and being able to take those skills and use them is so helpful to me. And I think that if we're able to teach kids this and they're able to grow up knowing that we should all treat people with respect and be able to see from other people's perspectives, it would resolve so much conflict that we're seeing, especially now in like political systems and in jobs or in colleges.
Awesome. And then there's one more question. Do you think peer mentoring is a powerful tool for creating a sense of community in your school building? I guess I'm wondering, do you mean peer mentoring or do you mean peer mediation? I mean, mentoring, I think, is similar to mediation. Maybe we can answer both. Mediation, okay. Do you think it would be a powerful tool? Mediation?
I think yeah, it helps me when every time I come to the classes, I get to know everybody and it calms me down. It was personally I have anxiety, so it helps me like get my feelings out and everything.
Yeah, I sort of agree with that. I think just being there to help other people through their conflicts, it helps me learn to think for myself so that when I get into my own conflicts with other people, I'm really able to think through them and become my own independent person.
Yay, well, that is our time, 2:30. I don't know if anybody has any more questions. We hope that you learned something and you liked what we shared. We can share our slides and our Jamboard with you if you'd like. Also visit our website if you'd like. Oh, do you feel empowered? Do you have a voice? Anyone?
I think as a community, we all have voices and we all have power. And I think it's our job to also give other people that power and their voice to use.
Yeah.
Yay. Well, I really appreciate everybody for coming. I got the video for the 5 blind men on YouTube, but we can share. Jose, is that possible? Can we share the link to the?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So what I'll do is afterward, I'll send a follow-up email, hopefully before the weekend, or if not, sometime over the weekend, with a copy of this recording, as well as the links regarding like the PowerPoint and a copy of the Jamboard, that kind of stuff, and in that we'll have the links as well.
And if you want to, you can always check out our website, Kailua High Peer Education Program, and give me a call at Kailua High if you ever want more information. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to everybody who came. Bye.
I'm just going to say a few words just to close this out. I just do want to sincerely thank you, Sage, Vanessa, and Shelly, for providing us these amazing skills, such an interactive workshop today, and for sharing more upcoming skills workshops over the month of April, definitely. I definitely appreciate your insights into peer mediation, your approach as peace builders, conflict resolvers, but most of all, your passion and kindness in all that you do. So thank you. Last but not least, thank you to you all for joining today's webinar. We deeply appreciate your interest and support in joining us to learn about peer mediation programs throughout Hawaii at the 34th Annual Peer Mediation Conference, Adventures in Peer Mediation. Just a friendly reminder, we still have 60 more events left in this conference, so I do hope to see some of you again from our audience. Actually, the next one's coming up in a few minutes, so thank you again all. Take care.